love you guys.
Oh my god! Oh my god! You guys! Oh my god!
That was okay.
So no.
The internet is filled with creepy content, but some videos go beyond disturbing. These are the recordings that leave you questioning what's real, what's staged, and what should have never been captured at all. Tonight we're diving into 6 of the most disturbing YouTube videos ever caught on camera. Let's dive straight into the first video. Since 2015, cruise ships have become more than just a floating escape for vacationers. They're miniature cities, packed with food courts, spas, casinos, pools, and thousands of strangers sailing together through open water. But sometimes, those perfect trips turn into something else, something darker. In early November of that year, a woman and her husband boarded Oasis of the Seas for what was supposed to be a relaxing anniversary cruise through the Caribbean. And for the first few days, it was. Sunny skies, sparkling blue water, morning spa visits, cocktails by the pool. The kind of trip you book to forget about the world. But all of that changed in the middle of the night, around 1 a.m. on Friday, November 6th. Without warning, the massive vessel came to a dead stop in the middle of the ocean. A few minutes later, it started circling slowly. At first, most passengers were asleep, but by dawn, the rumors had already begun spreading from balcony to balcony. Someone had gone overboard, and it was all caught on camera. Let's have a look, and be warned this footage can be shocking for some viewers.
Stop yelling! Let them work!
You don't touch me! Because of you this happened, because I stepped out the door. Let go until he's on board. Until he's on board, I'm not going anywhere. Let go of me! Let some get off me! Get off me! I'm not going anywhere until he's on board.
Watch. He's there! He's there! Stop! Get the life back! Get the life thing! Throw it over! Throw it over!
A young man had climbed over his own balcony onto the roof of a lifeboat, apparently after a fight with someone in his room. Security had spotted him on the ship's cameras and rushed down to try and intervene. But by the time they arrived, he was gone, swept into the vast black ocean below. No one saw him again. As the morning sun rose, the mood on the ship changed. Gone were the laughs, the music, the carefree energy. It felt like the entire cruise had been put on pause. People stood around in hushed groups, staring out over the railing, watching, waiting. Still nothing. Coast Guard boats arrived later, but there was no trace of him. No body, no clothes, just ocean. At that point, no one really knew what had happened. Some people said he was drunk. Others thought maybe he had jumped. But the only thing that was certain was that he wasn't coming back. And yet, something even more disturbing began unfolding shortly after. At first, cruise officials claimed the incident was the result of a domestic dispute. They said Elbaz had jumped of his own free will, but his family strongly disagreed. According to their attorney, Mike Winkleman, Elbaz and his husband had been subjected to homophobic slurs from crew members throughout the cruise. That night, things allegedly escalated into a confrontation with staff. Following the incident, the Broward Sheriff's Office conducted an investigation and concluded that Elbaz intentionally jumped from the balcony. Royal Caribbean maintained that their staff responded appropriately and denied any physical altercation with Elbaz. Despite these findings, Elbaz's family and their attorney, Michael Winkleman, continued to assert that he was subjected to anti-gay remarks from crew members, which they believe contributed to the tragic event. Bernardo Elbaz's body was never found, and somewhere out there, his story continues to drift silently beneath the waves. If that caught you off guard, the next story will leave you speechless. Quick interruption. If you're enjoying this video, why not hit that subscribe button? We're on a mission to hit 150,000 subscribers, and when we do, 3 lucky fans will win a free item of their choice from our merch store. Right now, 73.6% of you watching haven't subscribed yet. It's completely free, and your support helps us make even more awesome videos. So, don't miss out. Subscribe, and let's get back to the video. Back in December of 2016, a Brazilian thrill-seeker named Fabio Ezoyoras was getting ready to do something that would push his limits like never before. He was 36 years old, known for chasing adrenaline, and this time, he had set his sights on a 40-meter bungee jump from a railway bridge in São Paulo. But this wasn't just any jump. Fabio planned to film the whole thing. In the video, you can see him standing with his wife, his 6-year-old son, and his brother, all of them there to cheer him on. This was supposed to be a huge moment for Fabio, maybe even the highlight of his stunt career. He was so confident, so prepared, that he had even considered jumping with his son at one point. Eventually, though, he decided against it. When the moment came, Fabio dove headfirst off the bridge, and that's when it all went wrong.
Vai quando eu falar, tá? Beleza. Abre o braço aí e fica na frente. Nossa senhora, sabia, caralho. Sabia que ia dar merda.
Ah, não acredito, gente. O que aconteceu?
Vai tomar no cu, caralho.
Ah, não, gente. O que aconteceu?
The cord tied to his ankle didn't bounce back. The professional team he'd hired to set everything up had made a fatal miscalculation. They got the length of the cord completely wrong. And with no resistance to stop his fall, Fabio slammed into the ground right in front of his family. He was rushed to the hospital, but it was already too late. The trauma from the impact had killed him instantly. The footage Fabio recorded became crucial evidence in the investigation. It showed, without question, that the team responsible for the setup had completely misjudged the mechanics of the jump. An error that cost a father, a husband, and a brother his life. Think that was wild? What comes next is even more unbelievable. It was supposed to be an ordinary ride through one of the most iconic stretches of road in the country, a twisting, treacherous path known as the Dragon, with 318 curves packed into just 11 miles of US Route 129. The road straddles the Tennessee-North Carolina border and attracts motorcyclists from all over the world. On the morning of October 15th, 41-year-old Kevin Diepenbrock and his friend, 29-year-old Philip Polito, were riding together through those turns. But somewhere near mile marker 4, things went wrong. Very wrong. Polito suddenly hit the brakes, and Kevin, riding close behind, couldn't react in time. His bike slammed into his friends, and in a split second, both riders were launched off the road, over the guardrail, and down a steep embankment. And Philip landed first, about 50 feet down, and died on impact. Kevin fell even farther, over 100 feet into the ravine. But somehow, he survived. With 2 punctured lungs, 12 broken ribs, and hairline fractures in his spine, Kevin lay motionless on the forest floor, bleeding and barely able to move. He had no idea if help would come. All he could do was wait, and document what he thought might be his final hours.
Hey everybody. That's all I can really say. About 10:30 this morning. Been laying here ever since. About 50 feet down in the ravine. Just want to say I love you guys. Sorry it's being stupid, but you know that's what I do. Mom, Dad, love you. Courtney, love you. Kurt and Marnie, Karen, Matt, love you guys. Take care. I think I got a broke sternum, ribs, maybe back. I love you guys. Take care of the puppies for me too. Give Kimber and Ruger lots of love for me. And Rocco, Notch, and Kimber. Rocco, Notch, and Tango. I miss you guys. See you soon.
Using his phone, Kevin began recording messages for his family. The footage, later recovered by local news, shows a man in shock, pain, and heartbreak.
Hey, 7 o'clock. Trying to use my flashlight to wave somebody down. I think I moved. I think I tried getting up. I think I passed out. Definitely punctured some lungs. Oh, love you guys. Man, I could use a drink of water. They're just like 50 feet away. Alright. Love you. Love you, Courtney. Love you, Mom, Dad. Hey, yeah. Take care. Hey, I'm at 10% body, 10% battery. It's 11 o'clock. Man, I wish you would call Tennessee and tell them you got a husband out there that hasn't checked in since 10:30 in the morning. I love you. I don't know what to say. Hopefully be able to sleep and catch a state trooper in the morning. I love you. Good night. Love you. Sweet dreams.
In the final video, the screen is completely dark. Kevin's voice is barely audible. I love you, he says again, as if unsure he'll get another chance. Above him, hundreds of motorcycles passed by throughout the day. He could hear them, sometimes so close it felt like they were just a few feet away. But no one could see him. No one knew he was there. He screamed. He dialed 911. He sent text messages that never made it through. And then, nearly 30 hours after the crash, someone finally heard him. A group of riders stopped and called authorities. Blount County emergency crews responded immediately. Deputy Chief Jerry Phillips said it was a miracle that someone had heard him. The rescue wasn't simple. It took 6 responders, specialized rope gear, and multiple trips up and down the steep slope just to stabilize him. Kevin was alive, but barely. When they reached him, the first thing he asked was, "What about my friend?" He was airlifted to a nearby hospital in critical condition, where doctors confirmed the extent of his injuries: broken ribs, spinal fractures, punctured lungs, and deep bruises from head to toe. Kevin is still recovering, but he's alive and deeply changed by what happened. "Never forget to tell people you love them," he said in a later interview. "That's all I could think about when I was down there. You never say it enough. You never spend enough time with your family, your parents. You never spend enough time with the people close to you." And it's true, because on a winding road that's taken dozens of lives over the years, Kevin Diepenbrock came terrifyingly close to becoming just another name on the list. Instead, he left with a story and a second chance. That was bizarre enough, but the next twist might be the strangest of all. It was the evening of September 18, 2023. A group of friends had gathered at someone's house to rehearse for an upcoming dance recital. With only a few days left before the performance, they wanted every move to be sharp and in sync. Throughout the night, they took turns filming solo routines, eventually capturing their full group choreography on camera. But just a few hours later, after the dancing had ended and things had settled down, something strange happened. According to the group, they were sitting in a room playing a game when something off happened.
Wait.
Middle, down.
Okay.
Oh.
I'll do the.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in a 90s dance.
Let's do it. You can only move when the lights are off. You can't move when the lights are on. You have 5 moves to get to me. Are you ready?
Yep.
Oh. Okay. Oh. All right. You have 5 moves to get to me. Oh.
What?
Oh my god.
Turned the light
on.
on.
Sorry.
What the heck?
Something fell, right?
Yeah, it was sitting right here. Was it?
And it just fell off? Okay.
Fell?
No,
That's
feel
not
this.
flew off.
There's no way
It was
this
here?
fell. Feel how heavy this
I
is.
don't know.
Yes,
Oh,
it
wow.
was sitting right here.
Did you touch
I was-
that?
No, she didn't touch it.
I don't know. That's I don't know.
Maybe it was like.
Wait. What?
Was that
No.
already
Why is that?
moving?
Oh my god! You guys! Oh my god, I'm freaking. What the hell?
That was okay.
What?
No.
What the
cat
Oh my god. You guys, wait. I'm actually freaking out.
Oh my god. What is?
Wait. I'm really scared.
The entire thing was caught on camera. Right before the footage ends, a loud thud echoes through the room. The girls freeze. They already knew what it was. It was a crystal cube, one they had seen fall earlier in the evening. But the weird part? It had been carefully placed back on the shelf and hadn't moved since. Casey, one of the girls in the video, later explained that the cube hadn't just fallen again. It seemed to have flown. The distance it traveled across the room didn't make sense unless someone had physically thrown it. But no one was near it. And that wasn't the end of it. Moments later, the ceiling lamp began swaying on its own. A cabinet door slowly creaked open, even though no one had touched it. That's when the girls finally panicked and ran. So far, no one from the group has posted a follow-up or offered an explanation. And until they do, this incident remains one of those strange moments caught on camera that no one can quite explain. That was unsettling, But the next one is on a whole different level of disturbing. The footage begins like any other day at the amusement park. Teenagers laughing, spinning through the air on a ride called Travel Through Space at Chaohua Park. At first, everything seems normal. But just 13 seconds in, the video takes a horrifying turn. One of the riders, a 13-year-old girl named Ji, suddenly slips through her seat. As the ride rotates upside down at high speed, her body is flung into the air, crashing violently into the iron railings below. The other riders start screaming. The whole thing is caught on someone's phone. Be aware this footage is very disturbing. The ride was designed with 2 layers of protection, a waist belt and an overhead safety bar, but both failed. Investigators later confirmed that the seat belt had snapped mid-rotation. The safety bar, which was supposed to hold her in place, had a 7-inch gap, wide enough for a child to fall through. No one noticed the defect during operating hours. And despite age restrictions, staff had allowed Guian's 9-year-old cousin to get on the ride as well. The video spread like wildfire across Chinese social media. Users paused and rewound the exact frame where Guian's lifeless body struck the ground. When state media aired the footage, it forced officials to act. Suddenly, the park couldn't hide behind excuses. Records showed that Travel Through Space had passed a safety inspection back in December of 2016. But oddly, there hadn't been a single documented update since 2013. Within just 48 hours, authorities shut the park down. They also suspended all Travel Through Space rides across the country and ordered the ride's manufacturer to conduct urgent safety checks. Guian's parents, grieving the loss of their only child, accepted 870,000 yuan, about $126,700, as compensation. Online, people were furious. 870,000 for a life? How much does that park make in a month? One comment read. This wasn't the first time something like this had happened. It was actually the 3rd major incident since 2013 involving this same type of ride, where riders were thrown out because of faulty mechanics. And still, nothing had changed. Did you find these 5 YouTube videos disturbing? Then brace yourself for the last disturbing video. It was just a few days before Christmas, December 22nd, 1990, when a VHS camera began recording what, at first, looked like a quiet holiday moment. A man named Vaughn Taylor is seen sitting near a Christmas tree, unwrapping presents one by one. Behind the camera is his longtime friend, Edward Deli, who insists on filming the whole thing. Vaughn doesn't seem particularly excited about the gifts. In fact, he barely reacts at all, casually tossing aside wrapping paper while Edward keeps the camera rolling.
You got a light flashing on the front of that. I don't know. Find out. How am I supposed to find out? And LeMay. Come on, pass that. Oh, wow. What is it? Baseball card. Okay.
At a glance, the video feels like any other home recording. Maybe a little awkward, maybe a little forced, but still ordinary. 2 friends sharing gifts in the glow of a Christmas tree. Nothing about it seems out of place, but it is. Because these 2 men weren't just friends, they were recently released convicts. Edward for arson, Vaughn for aggravated burglary. And far from turning their lives around, they had already made a chilling decision. Vaughn had told another friend shortly after his release that he and Edward were planning to go into the mountains and shoot some people. And that's exactly what they set out to do. They made their way into the wilderness near Oakley, Utah, wandering from cabin to cabin, breaking in, stealing supplies. sometimes just destroying things for the sake of it. Most cabins were empty, left behind for the winter. But one wasn't. The Teeta family had come to their cabin to celebrate the holidays. There were 6 of them: Father Rolf, his wife Kay, their daughters Trish and Liney, their grandmother Beth Potts, and their youngest daughter Lanai. On the morning of December 22nd, the family headed into nearby Salt Lake City for some last-minute Christmas shopping. The cabin was left unattended for just a few hours, the exact window Vaughn and Edward needed. When they broke in, they quickly realized the family wasn't gone for the season. The tree was decorated. Wrapped gifts sat untouched. It was clear someone would be back soon, so they waited. At some point during those hours, Edward picked up the family's VHS camera, the same one they had probably used to record Christmas mornings in years past, and started filming Vaughn as he tore open the family's gifts, one by one. The footage becomes almost unbearable when you realize these weren't his gifts. He was opening the presents of the very people he was waiting to kill. At one point, he even reads out the name Liney from a gift tag. A gun rests in his lap. Neither of them seems to care. A few hours later, the family returned. Beth, Kay, and Liney were the first through the door. They were immediately met with guns and threats. Liney, just 20 years old, began praying out loud, begging for her family's safety. But Edward looked her in the eyes and told her it wouldn't work. He only worshipped the devil. And moments later, both her mother and grandmother were murdered. Liney was left alive, for now. She tried to reason with the men, desperate to stall them. She knew her father and younger sister would be arriving any minute, but before she could convince them to leave, the sound of another snowmobile echoed in the distance. Rolf and Trish pulled into the driveway. Once again, the men pounced. Rolf was forced to strip, hand over all his money, and beg for his life. But it made no difference. Vaughn shot him in the face, then finished the job with a second shot to the back of the head. Only Liney and Trish remained. With the cabin now a crime scene, Vaughn and Edward soaked it in gasoline, lit it on fire, and fled, kidnapping the 2 girls and taking off on the family's snowmobiles down the mountain. But as they neared a road, they saw a man waving to them. It was Randy Zorn, the girls' uncle. He recognized them right away and tried to flag them down. But the girls, knowing any recognition could get him killed, pretended not to know who he was. They told the kidnappers he was a stranger. Randy, confused but suspicious, followed at a distance. He watched as the group loaded into the family car. He called out again, even ran toward them. Still, the girls ignored him, and that's when he heard it. A second snowmobile racing down the trail. It was Rolf. Barely alive, burned and blinded, with 2 bullets lodged in his head, Rolf had somehow survived. He had escaped the burning cabin, gotten on a snowmobile, and come to warn someone, anyone. He reached Randy and said just 6 words: "I've been shot. My wife's dead." And that was enough. Police were called immediately. A search was launched. And before long, Vaughn and Edward's stolen vehicle flew off the road, tumbling into a ravine. Incredibly, no one inside was seriously hurt. After a brief standoff, the 2 men surrendered. The nightmare was finally over. Edward was sentenced to life in prison. Vaughn, the man smiling while opening someone else's gifts on tape, was sentenced to death. When Rolf walked into the courtroom to testify, both men reportedly looked stunned. They had thought he was dead, but he wasn't. Rolf made a full recovery. Still, the horror of what happened in that cabin, the murder, the fire, the silent video of Vaughn tearing into gifts meant for children, left a scar that couldn't be erased. The recording is out there, and for many, it remains one of the darkest home videos ever captured. That's all for today, folks. If you want to see more of this creepy content, click on the video on screen.